everybody. I just wanted to take a couple minutes today. I'm in my virtual office outside, and wanted to share a little bit about with you what's coming up in my Author in a Weekend boot camp program for February 20th and the 21st. In that program, one of the things that, or some of the things that you will discover, for example, is first and foremost is my strategy, my step-by-step process that I share that teaches people how to not only write but also publish their first book. It is an awesome process, and I appreciate it. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but it shows people how to discover their passion, how to discover their purpose. But it also becomes something it's tangible. It becomes a networking tool, a piece of a tool, if you will, that virally goes out there and grows your entire ideal client base. It actually becomes a business in and of itself, because down the road you can use the same thing in the same process to create your own products, to create your own services, create workshops and seminars, and prepare you for public speaking. Now, the reason I come up with this program, by the way, is because the basic premise of all businesses, right, is to find a place that needs some help, fill it, like provide the solution, and monetize it. Well, that's exactly what I came up with this program for, because everywhere I was going when I was networking, people were asking me and saying to me all the time, it's like, oh, Leah, I've always wanted to write a book. Or, Leah, I started to write a book, but I never finished it. And I always, whenever I asked them, then they'd say, well, how did you do it? There's the question. Obviously, I had to figure out a way to teach them my strategy. And I did that. For a long time, that's all I did. But I was discovering in the very beginning that not everybody was still completing their book. There was other things that were standing in the way. Now, I began to research that with both my clients and other colleagues and other, New York Times bestseller authors. And it's interesting because even the best-selling authors that I have in my circle will tell you that every time they go to write, they still have to get through certain fears, certain terror barriers, what I call it, to get past to actually get what they want to have done. So if I ask you, for example, why you haven't written your book yet, I can pretty much guarantee you that it's going to come within the same area of answers and responses that I normally get, which is, okay, maybe you don't feel like you have a message that's worthy to share with other people. Maybe you're worried that or you don't have the confidence actually to share it. Not that you don't have the message, but maybe it's a confidence issue for you. Perhaps that you don't have the time, or you don't know what to write about. Perhaps you're scared of how other people are going to look at you, like, oh yeah, she thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. But it could be that. It could be maybe you're scared of publishing. Maybe you feel like you don't have the money. That you're scared about the costs involved, or you're scared about the resources, or a perceived lack of resources. Maybe you just don't know what to actually write about, or you're overwhelmed about the size of what you want to write about. I tell you right now, it's okay. I'm here because I'm the one that's telling you it's okay, because every single person I know who writes goes through the same thing. So what you have to learn is actually how to do it, right? And there's actually a couple of things that you really just need to learn how to do very quickly. The biggest thing that's going to hold you back every single time are those fears. So the first thing that you have to do is learn how to get rid of the fears, right? So the very first step in that is to have crystal clear goals. And when I do my program with people, a lot of people think, okay, well, I have a goal. I want to write a book. I want to make a difference in the world. I want to impact lives. I want to brand my business. I want to market my business. I want to brand me. All of those things happen with books, yes. But that's not necessarily the goal. See, the goal is 3 parts, and it's not just about you. It's not about your book. It's not just about your reader, and it's not just about all of the rest of the people in the world and lives that you don't even know that you're going to impact. It's all of those and more. So when I say crystal clear goals, I'm talking that big, massive goals. Not just you. You have to incorporate all those different parts, not just one. Okay? So that's the first part. The second part is to remove all the crap, which means taking out all the fears, all of those beliefs and those values that have, held you back and held you down up until this point, whether you don't want to feel like all that in a bag of chips, for example. But all of those things that are holding you back, they're the things that have to be dealt with so that you can then get past that and actually, which is the third step, start. Now, when I say start, it can be something as simple as writing a grocery list and thinking about it and writing some poetry for the items on the list. It can be journaling. It can be anything, but you must start. Now, when you do, I will tell you, because I believe that writing is magical from my heart and my soul, which brings me to the next part. There's a difference between having a good book and having a great book. And the people who write great books are people who are true artisans. These are people like the poets, the singers, all of those people who write and sing and paint and all of that stuff. It doesn't come from necessarily the head. It comes from the heart and from the soul. And if you can master that, then you'll have a great book. That's the main third step, is how do you get to that? Because when you do, what ends up happening when you get to that point that you start working and going through this process, which I have the process in my program, I call it the rewind and remind process. And what ends up happening is when you go through that and you look at it, you'll find all kinds of patterns in your life and commonalities. And it's incredible, because what ends up happening is all that worry you had about self-worth and lack of confidence in the beginning, and let's face it, even if you are confident, you probably got some. I know I've written a few times and I've still got issues with that. I'll be the first one to admit it. But if you go through that process, then what ends up happening is you tap into your inner power. You become empowered and you develop a big, stronger sense of confidence. You're still going to be vulnerable. You're still going to be raw. And if I'll tell you, that's one of the keys to actually building the audience and the ideal clients. Which brings me to the next part. The next benefit is that you then have the ability to get inside your clients' heads, your ideal client. And some people don't even know who that is. And that's part of this learning process too. You will discover exactly who your reader really is, who your ideal client is. And from there, what ends up happening is that you become, through your writing to that specific ideal client, that ideal reader, that audience, you then become the leader. You then become the model and the teacher who provides them exactly what they need, because they're looking for you. They just haven't found you yet because you haven't written your book yet and you're not out there. So in the course, what you actually learn to do is, obviously the first thing is create those goals that are going to keep you motivated, keep you stay on track on the same road to getting your book finished, okay? The rewind and remind process, you're going to learn that, which it will, in turn, that shows you where all your nuggets, where your golden nuggets, where your diamond is. That's where the riches lie. That's where your knowledge is, your wisdom. All the things that your reader is looking for is found during that simple one process. The next thing you're going to learn is you're going to discover the beliefs, the values, everything that has both helped and hindered you from moving forward in speaking your truth. And in this class, when you discover them, you also then have the ability to then change them and turn them around so they begin to work for you and help you become more successful and continue to write. You will also learn the storytelling process. There is an architecture and a foundation that must be built in every story and every book. And I am not, saying it has to be a certain way or a certain other way, because it's an argument that has been going on for centuries. There has to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. We know that. Let's just go with that for this video. But there is an actual architecture that you can follow that makes your book flow so much easier. Again, flow is a big deal. It comes from inside, okay? Writing in a simple process and this system will also help you learn it, because once you learn the same system, this strategic process that I teach, not just the rewind and the remind, but the actual implementation, the building of the structure, once you get that system down, you can use it over and over and over again, not just to rewrite or write, I should say, new books or create new books, but also it creates products. You can create workshops and seminars and audios and all of the stuff that you want to have. And it's, like I said, it's a business of itself. It can continue to grow. It's all up to you. Once you learn the process once, you can use it continuously over, and over again. And then finally, when you get all that down, I'm actually going to share with you and teach you so that you can learn the first beginning steps to actually creating your book launch and your marketing program for your book. That is it's not a full-blown launch plan. That's something that we do later. At this point, when I have people in this program, I want them to get finished. And I've done that previous, and it's a little too much for people, so that's a second thing, but you will definitely get the beginning steps and into that blueprint so that you can then actually take the process and probably create your own blueprint in the meantime. So what's included in the classes? Let me grab that for you. Sorry about that. Class 1 is everybody is a storyteller. The qualities of a big thinker, of an author, and how to become one, because let's face it, most people who are authors are not small thinkers, right? They think big, they want to go places, and, so do you. So what's your why and tips for success is class 1. Class 2 is your BEST list. Now, BEST is an acronym in my program, and it stands for a number of different things. I can't list them all here, but that's part of that rewind and remind system or process. In class 2, we also develop your hook. We talk about your personal book goals, reader's gift, your reader's call to action. Remember, those goals are 3 parts, and how to create a powerful title. In class 3, we do story architecture. I'm trying to read this and still look at the camera, so I'm because I can't remember all this off the top of my head. Class 3 is about story architecture, the outlining process, my magic math formula, and creative strategies. And these strategies are really important for you to learn because, again, once you get a new strategy, it becomes a habit and a belief later on, and you can create more and more and more. It'll make you a better writer. It'll make you a better business person. It'll make you a better person, period. So class 4 is about editing and constructive criticism, an Amazon virtual live tour where you'll be seen and what to expect on there as an author. And, of course, class 5 is about publishing. And it's step-by-step of creation of your files and how to upload them. I take you through screen by screen for that. So, yeah, I do it with you at the same time. And, of course, class 6 is marketing tips and that book launch strategy. And then we just have an open discussion of where exactly will your book take you. Because your book can take you to a number of different spots. So that's basically what the program is about, some of the benefits, some of the things that you'll learn, and some of the things that you'll share in that program. If you want to get a hold of me and talk about this, please, by all means, in the description, in the comments description below the video, there are a number of ways to contact me. You can reach me by email. I prefer to talk to people anyway before they come in the program because sometimes, this is a big deal to people, and I want to make sure that you're comfortable and I'm comfortable, that we're a good fit. Consider it an interview process or something if you want. But, so you can get me, on my email, which is leah.lecreux2@gmail.com or Leah@, at intendedcreations.com. And my name, by the way, the first one, Leigh LeCreux, is Leigh, LECREUX at gmail.com. Sorry, I'll put that on the bottom comment too. And of course, hang out. Come hang out at the party with us on Facebook at the Fearless Talkologist fan page, or you can come over to the Author in a Weekend Bootcamp page. I look forward to seeing you straight up from here, raw and uncut in my backyard. But, as I say in my classes, on all my talks, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to the world. If you don't write your book, the disservice is not just to you. It's for the people that are left behind in your legacy. They need to know who you were. You also need to make an impact and change your life and change the lives of others. I believe beyond a doubt, that's where my passion is. That's why I believe every one of us have that mission. That's a shared mission. So really seriously think about this. And like I said, if you're on the fence, by all means, contact me, and I'm more than happy to discuss it with you. And that note, remember, every one of us are walking, talking collections of wisdom and knowledge. We are walking, talking books. And you need to share that story. You need to share your wisdom and knowledge with the world and be your own bestseller. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.